You find yourself enveloped in the whispers of a time long gone, nestled in the vibrant tapestry of early 17th century Persia. The sun rises gently, painting the skies with hues of gold and lavender, as you breathe in the subtle scent of blooming jasmine and fresh earth. It's a period rich with cultural and artistic expression, where the air hums with the elegance of poetry, the fragrance of spices, and the distant sounds of a bustling marketplace. In this world, a poet is born, someone whose words would echo through the ages. Picture the grand cities of Isfahan and Shiraz, with their intricate architecture and lively bazaars. This is not just a backdrop. It's a living, breathing entity. The soft rustle of silk, the melodic hum of lute strings, and the laughter spilling from groups of poets and scholars define the atmosphere. You are transported to a courtyard adorned with colourful tiles, where the young poet plays amid the shadows of towering cypress trees. His laughter dances in the air, blissfully ignorant of the struggles ahead. But amid this beauty lies a harsh truth. You might think that being a celebrated poet in such a culturally rich environment means a life filled with ease and luxury. However, the reality is often harsher than the idealized image. Society is rigid, with strict hierarchies and expectations. The poet's family, while perhaps well off, is still tethered to the whims of the ruling class and the ever-changing political landscape. There are whispers of conflict and power struggles, and the poet's future is anything but certain. You can almost feel the tension in the air, a pressure that weighs heavily on the shoulders of those who aspire to greatness. The artist's life is not merely a stroll through a garden of inspiration. It's a constant negotiation with fate and fortune. As you ponder the complexities of his beginnings, you begin to understand the significance of this era in shaping the poet's identity and his eventual works. Amidst these brightness of his birthplace, there lies an unspoken understanding that greatness comes at a cost, and the journey toward it is fraught with challenges. The beauty of Persian culture, rich in art and language, will be both a shield and a sword for our poet, guiding him through the trials ahead. As the sun climbs higher, illuminating the intricate patterns of the world around him, the stage is set for a life that intertwines artistry with the visceral realities of existence. This duality, the glamorous illusion of poetic life contrasted against the shocking reality of societal constraints, is a theme that will follow our poet throughout his journey. And so, as we leave the warmth of his birthplace, we journey onward into the heart of a world where poetry reigns supreme but is shadowed by the burdens of class and expectation. You step into the grand hall of a majestic palace, where the atmosphere is thick with the sweet scent of rosewater and the sound of gentle laughter echoes off intricately painted walls. This is where the glamour of Persian poetry reigns, where words are woven into tapestries of beauty and eloquence. The air is alive with the rhythm of verses, each line a delicate thread connecting the poets and patrons who fill the room. In this space, poetry is not just an art form, it is a symbol of prestige, a currency of social power, and an essential component of high society. Among the elegantly dressed courtiers, you can sense the allure of the literary elite. They are adorned in luxurious fabrics, with intricate patterns that reflect their wealth and status. The poets, often seen as the heralds of beauty, are celebrated for their ability to capture the soul of the nation in their verses. You can imagine the grandeur of their recitations, filled with metaphors that speak of love, nature, and the divine. However, beneath this surface of admiration lies a more complex reality. While the public image of a poet is that of a revered figure, the truth is often far less glamorous. For every celebration and banquet, there are endless hours spent in solitude, grappling with the weight of expectation. The poet's life becomes a balancing act between public adoration and personal despair. The pressure to produce flawless work can be overwhelming. You can almost hear the internal monologue of the poet, a constant whisper that says, "Will I ever be enough?" The world outside the palace walls is rife with inequality and injustice, as the glittering gatherings starkly contrast with the struggles faced by the common people. You might imagine the poet, surrounded by luxury, yet knowing that his brilliance is often unattainable for the masses. The opulence of the court serves to highlight the divide, where only a select few bask in the light of recognition while many remain in the shadows, their voices unheard. This duality between the glamorous illusion of poetic life and the shocking reality of societal constraints creates a rich tapestry of experiences for the poet. The very art that elevates him also becomes a reminder of the disparity that exists in the world he inhabits. His verses may flow like silk, glimmering in the eyes of those who recite them, yet they serve as a mirror reflecting the struggles and sorrows hidden beneath the surface. As you explore this intricate world, you begin to appreciate the delicate balance the poet must maintain. He draws inspiration from the beauty surrounding him, yet his heart is burdened by the knowledge of the suffering that exists just beyond the gilded walls. The glamour of poetry is alluring, but it is interwoven with the harsh truths of life, creating a complex narrative that resonates through time. In this moment of reflection, you understand that the poet's journey will be shaped not just by his ability to craft beautiful words, but by his willingness to confront the uncomfortable realities of his society. It's a path fraught with contradictions, yet it is precisely these contradictions that will fuel his creativity. With this understanding, you gently exit the palace, carrying with you the weight of these revelations as you prepare to delve deeper into the poet's life. As dawn breaks over the horizon, you find yourself in the tranquil embrace of the poet's morning rituals. The soft light filters through intricately woven curtains, casting delicate shadows that dance across the floor. You can almost hear the gentle rustling of the poet as he rises from his slumber, the world outside still cloaked in the quietude of early morning. It's a sacred time, one that fosters creativity and introspection, where the stillness offers a perfect backdrop for inspiration to bloom. You visualize him sitting cross-legged on a richly embroidered rug, surrounded by the scent of freshly brewed tea, its steam curling upward like the wisps of a dream. Each sip brings warmth to his thoughts, mingling with the aromatic spices lingering in the air. This is a moment of solitude, before the day's demands call him back into the world, a world filled with expectations from patrons, peers, and a ravenous audience eager for new verses. However, the serene imagery is quickly tempered by the realization that such moments of peace are fleeting. While the world outside his window seems calm, the reality is that life in 17th century Persia is anything but tranquil. The poet's morning routine must also contend with the harshness that brews just beyond the palace walls, the noise of daily life, the struggles of the lower classes, and the relentless political machinations that govern the lives of many. The poet pours his heart into his work, yet he is acutely aware of the societal turmoil that surrounds him. As you observe him, you realize that these routines are not merely rituals, they are acts of rebellion against the chaos of the world. In a time where art serves as both reflection and escape, the poet seeks solace in his craft, using the beauty of language to explore the depths of human experience. But this exploration often reveals uncomfortable truths, forcing him to confront the pain of existence and the struggles that bubble beneath the surface of society. You visualize the poet jotting down lines in his notebook, the ink flowing like a river, carrying his thoughts downstream. The verses may celebrate love and beauty, but they also hint at the sorrow and hardship faced by the common people, the very essence of his society. It's a delicate dance, crafting words that will be applauded in courts while remaining true to the realities that fuel his inspiration. This tension between artistry and authenticity defines his work, and it's a balancing act that will follow him throughout his life. As the day begins to unfold, the poet's serene morning gives way to the clamor of the outside world. The sounds of children playing, merchants shouting, and the distant clang of metal as blacksmiths commence their daily work fill the air. The contrast between this peaceful morning and the vibrant chaos of life is striking. You can almost sense the poet's resolve strengthen as he prepares to step into this world again, armed with the insights gleaned from his moments of solitude. With each passing day, he learns to navigate the complexities of his society, and it's in these quiet mornings that he gathers the strength and inspiration to tell stories that will resonate through time. The poet understands that his role is not just to entertain but to elevate the voices of those who remain unheard, bringing their struggles and joys into the light through his art. As you absorb the essence of this quiet but powerful beginning, you can feel your own spirit lifting, ready to journey alongside the poet as he faces the myriad challenges that lie ahead. The morning sunlight now fully graces the room, illuminating the poet's path toward greatness amid the contrasts of life's realities. As you wander deeper into the intricate layers of 17th century Persia, you come face to face with the stark realities of social status and class division. The poet's world, though filled with artistic brilliance, is also a landscape marred by inequalities that shape the very fabric of society. You stand on the edge of a bustling bazaar, where the jubilant cries of merchants selling their wares harmonize with the distant sounds of a lute, creating a vivid backdrop that encapsulates the spirit of the time. In this vibrant scene, you can visualize the lavishly dressed elite parading through the marketplace, their silks and brocades glistening in the sunlight, while just beyond them, the common folk struggle under the weight of their daily burdens. The disparity is striking, almost jarring, as the wealthy indulge in delicacies and luxuries that the vast majority can only dream of. You can almost hear the whispers of discontent rising from the streets, a stark contrast to the splendor that surrounds the poet when he is in the company of the elite. The poet himself occupies a precarious position within this hierarchy. While his verses grant him access to high society, they do not exempt him from the constraints of class. You can sense his internal conflict, a man who embodies both the beauty of artistic expression and the harsh truths of a divided society. The applause of the aristocracy is intoxicating, yet it comes with an unspoken expectation of conformity, a demand to remain palatable to their refined tastes. As you observe him navigate these waters, you begin to understand the weight of his words. Each poem he pens is not just an artistic endeavor but a reflection of the societal structures that govern his existence. The stark realities faced by the lower class linger in his mind, urging him to give voice to the voiceless. Yet, the risks are real. A poet who dares to challenge the status quo may find himself ostracized or worse, silenced by those in power. The audience that adores him is the same audience that could just as easily turn against him should he overstep the boundaries of acceptable discourse. You can imagine the poet standing at a crossroads, where the allure of fame and fortune beckons him from one direction, while the cries of the oppressed pull him in another. This tug of war between ambition and morality defines his journey, and the tension fuels his creativity. The stark contrast between the lavish banquets and the quiet suffering of the streets becomes a recurring theme in his work, as he grapples with how to articulate the pain and resilience of those living on the margins. The sun begins to set over the city, casting a golden hue over the bazaar and illuminating the faces of both the wealthy and the impoverished. This moment crystallizes in your mind, serving as a reminder that the poet's life is defined not just by his art, but by the society that shapes it. As he pens his lines, the poet becomes a bridge connecting the worlds of the elite and the common people, striving to create a narrative that honors the complexities of existence. With this understanding, you feel a deeper appreciation for the poet's struggles and triumphs. He exists in a realm where the beautiful illusions of poetry clash with the grim realities of life. As you leave the bustling bazaar behind, you carry with you the weight of these truths, ready to follow the poet as he continues to navigate the intricate dance of art and society. As you delve deeper into the poet's world, you find yourself surrounded by an array of vibrant characters, each one a thread in the intricate tapestry of his life. The poet's circles are alive with discussions and debates, laughter and rivalries that shape his artistic journey. You can almost hear the lively chatter in a dimly lit room adorned with rich carpets and intricate tapestries, where the poet gathers with his friends and fellow artists. The atmosphere is charged with creativity, each voice adding to the symphony of ideas and inspirations that swirl around. Among these figures are his patrons, influential aristocrats who recognize the power of poetry to elevate their own status. They revel in the beauty of his verses, enjoying the prestige that comes from being associated with a talented artist. Yet, you begin to notice the underlying tensions in these relationships. As much as the poets seek the favor of their patrons, there is an unspoken understanding that they must temper their words, crafting verses that align with the desires of those who hold the purse strings. The allure of support is tempting, but it often comes with a pricey compromise that can stifle true artistic expression. You can see the rivalries bubbling just beneath the surface. Fellow poets, each vying for recognition in a crowded field, often find themselves entangled in a competitive dance. Friends can quickly become adversaries, and the lines between admiration and jealousy blur. The poet navigates this landscape with a keen awareness, crafting his relationships as delicately as he crafts his words. In this world, camaraderie is intertwined with competition, and the poet must tread carefully, balancing the need for support with the desire for authenticity. In this gathering, the air is thick with ambition and aspiration. As you listen to the banter, you realize that these conversations are not just idle chatter, they are the lifeblood of the poet's creativity. Each story shared, each critique offered, serves as fuel for his imagination. Yet, this vibrant atmosphere also conceals darker truths. The pressure to succeed can be overwhelming, leading to moments of self-doubt and despair. The poet may wear a mask of confidence, but behind closed doors, he often grapples with insecurity about his place in the literary world. You sense a subtle, unspoken agreement among the poets to elevate each other's works while also harboring a desire to surpass one another. This duality permeates their interactions, as they share lines of verse that evoke joy yet carry the weight of unvoiced ambitions. The laughter may be genuine, but it is underscored by a constant awareness of one standing in this complex hierarchy. You can almost feel the tension in the air, a simmering rivalry that pushes each poet to strive for brilliance while navigating the delicate lines of friendship. As the evening progresses, you witness the camaraderie shift into a more introspective moment. The discussions turn to personal struggles, and you hear murmurs of unfulfilled dreams and the burdens of expectation. The laughter fades, replaced by a solemn acknowledgement of the challenges they face as artists in a world that demands greatness. Here, the glamorous illusion of poetic life begins to unravel, revealing the raw, vulnerable emotions that often lie beneath the surface. In this kaleidoscope of relationships, you realize that the poet's journey is not a solitary one. Each connection, each rivalry, shapes his identity and influences his work. The interplay of friendship, competition, and shared inspiration creates a dynamic landscape that drives the poet forward, even as it threatens to overwhelm him. As you leave this gathering of minds behind, you carry with you the understanding that the world of poetry is as much about people as it is about words. The connections forged within these circles will continue to echo through the poet's life, guiding him as he navigates the complexities of art and society. You find yourself transported to the serene gardens that dot the landscape of 17th century Persia, where beauty and tranquility intertwine, providing a haven for the poet's soul. Picture yourself wandering through lush greenery, fragrant roses and blossoming fruit trees. The sweet scent of citrus hangs in the air, mingling with the earthiness of freshly turned soil. A gentle breeze rustles the leaves, creating a soft symphony that calms the mind. In these gardens, the poet seeks solace and inspiration, a stark contrast to the bustling life outside their walls. As you stroll deeper into this verdant oasis, you can almost envision the poet sitting by a bubbling fountain, the sound of water cascading over stones creating a rhythm that echoes his thoughts. This setting, so picturesque and idyllic, is where he weaves his finest verses, drawing from the beauty that surrounds him. The gardens are alive with colour, from the vibrant petals of tulips to the delicate blossoms of cherry trees, all serving as a backdrop for introspection and creativity. However, beneath this tranquil surface lies a shocking reality. While the gardens symbolize peace and inspiration, they also reflect a society rife with conflict and stratification. You observe that not everyone enjoys this paradise. The common people toil under the weight of their daily labor, often working the land that feeds the elite. The poet may escape to this paradise, but the struggles of the lower classes are never far from his mind, and their absence from such beauty serves as a poignant reminder of the disparities that exist. The poet finds a dual purpose in these gardens. They are not only a refuge, but also a place of contemplation where he can reflect on the state of society. As he gazes upon the flowers in bloom, he thinks of the people who toil for their very existence, whose voices are often silenced. Each petal that unfurls in the sunlight serves as a metaphor for the resilience of those who persist in the face of adversity. You can feel the weight of this realization settle over him, transforming his appreciation of beauty into a deeper, more profound understanding of suffering. In moments of quiet, as he watches the butterflies dance from flower to flower, the poet contemplates the fleeting nature of life itself. He understands that beauty is often ephemeral, much like the joys and sorrows that color human experience. The gardens, with their vibrant colors and soothing sounds, reflect the complexity of existence where beauty and pain coexist, where joy is often shadowed by sorrow. This awareness deepens the poet's resolve to capture these themes in his work, to create verses that honor the intricate dance of life. As you absorb the essence of this sanctuary, it becomes clear that the gardens are a crucible for the poet's creativity. Here, he is free to explore the depths of his emotions, to delve into the contrasts that define his life and the lives of those around him. The tranquil setting offers a much-needed respite from the pressures of society, yet it simultaneously reminds him of his responsibility as a voice for the voiceless. With this newfound understanding, you feel a connection to the poet's journey, a recognition that art is not just an escape, but a means of grappling with the complexities of existence. As you leave the gardens behind, the echoes of the poet's thoughts linger in your mind, preparing you for the next chapter in his story, where beauty and hardship will continue to intertwine. The poet emerges from the tranquility of the gardens. You can sense a palpable shift in the atmosphere surrounding him. The allure of literary fame, often depicted as a glittering pedestal from which artists dispense their wisdom, and inspiration begins to reveal its less glamorous side. You can almost hear the applause echoing through the grand halls where he performs, a sound intermingled with the whispers of expectation that cling to him like a shadow. Fame, it seems, is a double-edged sword, and the poet finds himself navigating its treacherous waters. In the eyes of the public, he is a celebrated figure, an artist whose words evoke deep emotions and inspire admiration. His poetry flows like honey, capturing the hearts of nobles and commoners alike. But behind the scenes, the reality is starkly different. The pressure to maintain this reputation is relentless, a constant reminder that the adoration he receives today could easily fade into obscurity tomorrow. Each verse he writes is scrutinized. Each performance becomes a high-stakes gamble where success is celebrated, but failure is harshly condemned. You can almost feel the weight of expectation pressing down on him. The poet's mind is a battleground, where the desire for artistic expression clashes with the fear of disappointing his patrons and admirers. The more he ascends the ladder of success, the more isolated he becomes, surrounded by sycophants who whisper compliments while harboring their own ambitions. You can imagine the poet grappling with the thought, am I writing for myself or for an audience that demands perfection? This internal conflict deepens his struggle as he wades through the murky waters of self-doubt and external pressure. As the days turn into months, the poet finds himself caught in a cycle of creation and expectation. He becomes acutely aware of the sacrifices that fame demands, time spent away from loved ones, the constant need to please, and the looming threat of public disappointment. The glamour of the poet's life, once a beacon of hope, now reveals itself to be a gilded cage. He yearns for the authenticity of his earlier works, when he wrote from a place of genuine inspiration rather than obligation. You witness moments of vulnerability flash across his face, fleeting glimpses of a man who longs to break free from the constraints of his own reputation. The poet begins to question the very nature of his art. Is it still a reflection of his heart, or has it become a commodity, traded for favor and fortune? The dichotomy of being a revered artist while feeling so profoundly alone weighs heavily on his spirit, transforming his once joyful craft into a burden. As he pens his thoughts, you realize he channels this turmoil into his work. The verses, once flowing smoothly, now carry an undertone of conflict and exploration of the human experience that resonates with both beauty and pain. The poet begins to embrace the paradox of his existence, recognizing that the pressures of fame can lead to profound insights, even as they threaten to suffocate his creative spirit. In this moment of clarity, you sense a shift within him. The poet understands that to truly honor his craft, he must confront the expectations placed upon him and seek authenticity amid the chaos. His journey becomes a quest for balance, to honor the applause of the crowd while remaining true to his vision. As you witness this transformation, the weight of his struggles becomes a source of strength, fueling his desire to create work that resonates on a deeper level. As the sun sets on another day, casting a warm glow over the landscape, you accompany the poet on this uncertain path. Together, you prepare to delve deeper into his heart, ready to explore the themes of love, loss, and the unwavering pursuit of authenticity that will shape his journey ahead. In the dim light of a candlelit room, you can feel the weight of the poet's heart as he grapples with the intricate tapestry of love and loss that weaves through his life. The flickering flame casts shadows on the walls, mirroring the emotional turbulence that brews within him. It is in these quiet moments that the poet confronts his deepest yearnings and fears, and you can sense the raw vulnerability that emanates from him as he reflects on the connections that have shaped his existence. Love, in all its forms, serves as both a muse and a tormentor. You can almost hear the whispers of past romances echo around him, their laughter and heartache lingering like an uninvited guest. The poet's heart is a complex garden. It blooms with passion and beauty yet bears the thorns of despair and longing. He writes of love in its myriad expressions, romantic, platonic, and familial, each verse a testament to his experiences and emotions. Yet, with every word, there is an undercurrent of melancholy that reveals his awareness of love's transience. You imagine the poet reminiscing about a particular love, a figure, who once danced through his life like a fleeting shadow. Perhaps it was a muse who inspired his most profound works, a companion who understood the depths of his soul. But as quickly as they had come, they vanished, leaving a hollow space in his heart. The separation cuts deep, a wound that refuses to heal, and you can feel the ache in his words as he grapples with the impermanence of connection. The glamorous illusion of romantic love, often portrayed as an unending source of joy, contrasts sharply with the reality of heartache and longing that he knows all too well. In his poetry, you see the poet struggling to articulate this duality. He writes with passion, capturing the euphoric highs of love, the exhilaration of shared dreams, the comfort of tender moments, but he also delves into the depths of despair that accompany loss. Each line becomes a vessel for his pain, a way to make sense of the emotional turmoil that swirls within him. He encompasses the beauty of love while acknowledging its fragility, a juxtaposition that resonates deeply with anyone who has experienced the bittersweet nature of affection. The poet's words take on a life of their own, each verse a reflection of the memories that haunt him. He begins to realize that through his art, he can not only honor those he has loved but also confront the shadows of his past. The act of writing becomes a cathartic release, allowing him to transform heartache into beauty. It is a delicate balance, where the act of creation becomes a form of healing, as he weaves together the threads of love and loss into a poignant narrative that speaks to the universal human experience. As you witness this evolution, you feel a profound connection to the poet's journey. His exploration of love is not merely a reflection of personal experiences, it is a reminder of the complexity of relationships that define our lives. The laughter, the tears, the moments of intimacy and distance they all contribute to the rich tapestry of existence. In this intimate space, you can sense the poet's resolve to honor the full spectrum of love in his work. He understands that it is not just the joyful moments that shape us, but also the pain that forces us to grow. This realization ignites a spark within him, propelling him forward on his artistic journey, ready to embrace the interconnectedness of joy and sorrow. With the flickering candlelight casting gentle shadows around you, you leave the poet to his reflections, ready to accompany him as he continues to navigate the intricate landscapes of love, a journey filled with beauty, heartbreak, and the promise of newfound inspiration. As you venture deeper into the poet's psyche, you stumble upon the ethereal realm of Sufism, a mystical branch of Islam that has profoundly influenced his work. Here, love transcends the physical realm, evolving into a spiritual quest for connection with the divine. The air around you hums with a sense of profound serenity, and you can almost hear the soft chanting of Sufi poets echoing through time, inviting you to explore the mystical dimensions of existence. You are enveloped in an atmosphere that is both calming and exhilarating, a space where the boundaries between the earthly and the celestial begin to dissolve. The poet's engagement with Sufism adds another layer to his understanding of love and loss. In this mystical tradition, love is not confined to romantic relationships, it is a universal force that connects all beings with the divine. You can almost see him, lost in contemplation, as he reflects on the paradox of life, how one can feel profoundly connected yet desperately alone. In his poetry, the poet seeks to bridge this gap, using the language of love to express a longing not just for human connection, but for a deeper union with the cosmos. As you navigate this enchanting landscape, you realize that the poet's verses often mirror the teachings of Sufi mystics. The idea that love is both a journey and a destination resonates deeply within him. He understands that true love encompasses the acceptance of pain, the surrender to the divine, and the recognition that all experiences, both joyous and sorrowful, serve a greater purpose. This exploration leads him to embrace the complexities of existence, allowing him to articulate the nuances of the human condition with remarkable depth. Yet, the poet is acutely aware that the path of Sufism is fraught with challenges. The pursuit of spiritual enlightenment often demands a letting go of worldly attachments, a struggle that he grapples with daily. You can sense the tension within him as he seeks to reconcile his desire for artistic recognition with his yearning for spiritual fulfillment. The pressures of fame clash with the Sufi ideal of humility, and this inner conflict manifests in his writing, where he attempts to navigate the delicate balance between earthly desires and spiritual aspirations. In his verses, you witness the poet grappling with themes of divine love, often personifying it as a beloved who eludes his grasp. The language he employs is rich with metaphor, drawing upon the symbols of nature and the cosmos to convey the ineffable qualities of this love. The images of the moon, the stars, and the vastness of the universe become vessels for his yearning, reflecting his desire to connect with something greater than himself. Each poem becomes a prayer, an exploration of the divine presence that permeates all aspects of life. With every line, the poet invites his readers to embark on their own spiritual journeys, urging them to seek the divine through love and connection. You can feel the resonance of his words, a call to embrace both the beauty and the struggle of existence. The poet understands that while the road may be fraught with uncertainty, it is also lined with opportunities for growth and transformation. As you immerse yourself in this profound exploration of Sufism, the complexities of love, and the pursuit of the divine, you come to appreciate the poet's unique ability to weave these themes into his work. He serves as both a guide and a seeker, illuminating the path for others while continuing to navigate the intricate labyrinth of his own heart. Leaving this mystical realm behind, you feel a renewed sense of purpose, ready to join the poet on the next leg of his journey, a voyage that will challenge him to confront the hidden truths of existence while embracing the spiritual dimensions that shape his art. As you delve further into the poet's world, you encounter the often overlooked realm of women, silent yet powerful figures who shape his life and work. In 17th century Persia, women occupy a complex position, both celebrated and constrained, and you can sense their influence woven into the very fabric of the poet's existence. You step into a vibrant domestic space, perhaps a lively gathering where women share stories, laughter, and wisdom, their voices echoing softly in the warm air. Here, you begin to understand how these women inspire and challenge the poet in equal measure. You can see the poet's mother, a figure of strength and resilience who instilled in him a love for language and storytelling. The tales, rich with moral lessons and poetic beauty, fuel his imagination and awaken an appreciation for the power of words. You feel the warmth between them, a bond forged through shared experiences and mutual respect. Yet, you also recognize that while she nurtures his artistic spirit, societal constraints limit her own freedom. The poet's mother is a silent warrior, her influence powerful yet largely invisible, reminding you that the roots of art often lie in the uncelebrated stories of women. Then there are the muses who walk in and out of the poet's life, ephemeral figures who inspire verses filled with longing and desire. Whether they are romantic interests or intellectual companions, these women serve as mirrors, reflecting the poet's innermost thoughts and emotions. You can almost hear the poet's heart race as he captures their essence in his work, his pen dancing across the page as he immortalizes their beauty and complexity. Yet, this idealization often masks the harsher realities they face in a patriarchal society, where their voices are too frequently silenced or dismissed. As you observe the poet's interactions with women, you also feel the tension that arises from societal expectations. He is acutely aware of the constraints placed upon them, and in his writing, he seeks to honor their experiences. However, the challenge lies in navigating the delicate balance between admiration and objectification, as he grapples with the societal norms that dictate how women are perceived and represented. This struggle becomes apparent in his verses, where he strives to capture their strength while simultaneously acknowledging the vulnerabilities that come with a restricted existence. You can sense the poet's determination to transcend these limitations, to give voice to the women who inspire him. He understands that their stories are integral to the human experience, and he is committed to illuminating their struggles and triumphs through his art. With each poem, he works to challenge the status quo, to create a space where women can be seen and heard, not just as muses, but as complex individuals with their own narratives. In this introspective moment, you realize that the poet's journey is intertwined with the fight for recognition and equality for women. He becomes a conduit for their voices, weaving their stories into the larger tapestry of his work. As he crafts his verses, he acknowledges the power of collaboration and the importance of elevating those who have been marginalized. Leaving this gathering of voices behind, you carry with you a newfound appreciation for the vital role women play in the poet's life and in the broader narrative of society. The complexities of their experiences resonate deeply within him, fueling his passion to create art that not only celebrates beauty but also confronts the harsh realities of life. As you prepare to continue your journey with the poet, you feel a sense of urgency, a drive to explore the deeper connections between art, gender, and society, while embracing the stories that have long been left untold. As you step into the gritty realities of everyday life in 17th century Persia, you are met with a striking contrast to the serene gardens and poetic gatherings you've previously explored. The poet's world, while filled with beauty and inspiration, is also shadowed by the stark truths of poverty and struggle. You find yourself in the bustling streets of a marketplace, alive with vibrant colors and sounds, where the laughter of children mingles with the cries of vendors hawking their goods. Yet, amid this apparent loveliness, you can sense an undercurrent of hardship that defines the lives of many. You observe the faces of the common people, weathered and worn, each one telling a story of resilience. The daily grind of life is palpably their toil evident in the way they move about, their hands calloused from labor, their brows furrowed with concern. You can almost hear their whispered conversations, filled with hopes and dreams tightly bound by the chains of economic disparity. The poet, acutely aware of these struggles, carries their stories in his heart, and they begin to seep into his work, grounding his verses in the realities of human experience. As you watch the poet navigate this world, you feel a sense of urgency in his mission. He recognizes the privilege that comes with his status as a literary figure, yet he grapples with the moral responsibility that accompanies it. His poetry becomes a vehicle for social commentary, a way to illuminate the lives of those often overlooked. In the warmth of the sun-drenched streets, he begins to jot down observations, capturing the essence of resilience in the face of adversity, each line an attempt to honor the experiences of the marginalized. The disparities between the elite and the common folk loom large, creating a chasm that the poet seeks to bridge. You can see him writing about the struggles of the laborers who rise before dawn, their spirits unbroken despite the hardships they endure. He paints their experiences with empathy, infusing his words with a sense of urgency and authenticity. The glamorous illusion of a poet's life, which often dismisses the realities of suffering, is juxtaposed with the harsh truths that the poet feels compelled to explore. Yet, amidst this exploration, lies a tension. The poet is painfully aware that while he strives to give voice to the voiceless, there is an inherent risk in speaking on behalf of others. He grapples with the ethical implications of representing the experiences of those whose lives he can only observe from a distance. You can sense his internal conflict, a wrestling match between his desire to amplify their voices and the fear of misrepresenting their struggles. Every line he writes becomes a delicate negotiation, an effort to honor the truth while navigating the complexities of perception. As you walk alongside him through the market, you witness the moments of connection that begin to form. The poet engages in conversations with the vendors, listening intently to their stories, allowing their voices to shape his understanding of the world. He learns to listen, truly listen rather than speak for them. These interactions bring depth to his writing, as he comes to realize that the beauty of poetry lies not only in the words he crafts, but in the authenticity he seeks to capture. In this moment, you understand that the poet's journey is a reflection of the broader human experience, one where the richness of life is defined by its contrasts. The struggles of the common people fuel his art, pushing him to confront the uncomfortable truths that often lie beneath the surface. Leave the marketplace behind. You carry with you the weight of these realities, ready to witness how they continue to shape the poet's voice in the chapters to come. As you delve deeper into the poet's life, the impact of political turmoil begins to reveal itself with stark clarity. The once harmonious atmosphere of artistic expression is now overshadowed by the clamor of conflict, a tumultuous backdrop against which his work is set. You find yourself in a shadowy alcove, peering into the political intrigues that shape the world around him. The air is thick with tension, and you can hear the distant echoes of dissent rising from the streets, a cacophony of voices clamoring for change and justice amid a landscape marred by power struggles. The poet, ever observant, is acutely aware of the shifting tides of his society. You can almost feel the pulse of the city, the way it vibrates with fear and hope, anger and aspiration. As he writes, the current political climate seeps into his verses, painting a vivid picture of the realities faced by the people. The safety that once characterized his existence is now a fragile fade, with the looming threat of censorship and retribution hanging like a sword over his head. You can see the poet grappling with the duality of being a public figure, his words celebrated by the elite, while simultaneously scrutinized by those in power. He understands that poetry can serve as a weapon, a means of resistance against oppression, but he also knows the risks involved. Each line he pens becomes a potential target for those who would silence dissent, and this knowledge weighs heavily on his heart. You sense his internal conflict. How do you remain true to your art, while navigating the treacherous waters of political unrest? In his compositions, the poet begins to weave themes of social justice and political critique. You can feel the energy in his words shift, transforming from musings on love and beauty to a more urgent call for action. Hues. Verses become a rallying cry, a vehicle through which he channels his frustrations and aspirations for a better society. The glamour of poetic life fades, replaced by a raw urgency, a desire to use his voice to effect change. As you witness the tension rise, you also observe the poet's connections to fellow artists and activists who share his vision. Together, they gather in clandestine meetings, their discussions filled with fiery passion and a shared commitment to challenge the status quo. You can almost hear the fervor in their voices as they brainstorm ways to utilize their art as a means of protest. In these moments, camaraderie flourishes. The bonds they form become a source of strength as they navigate the dangers of speaking out. However, amidst this fervor, you also sense the poet's fears. The cost of dissent can be high, and he grapples with the potential ramifications of his actions. The realities of imprisonment or worse loom large, casting a shadow over his desire to speak truth to power. You can feel the weight of this awareness pressing down on him, a reminder that while art can inspire change, it can also invite danger. The glamorous illusion of a poet's life morphs into a reality steeped in risk and vulnerability. As he writes, the poet channels both hope and despair, reflecting the complexity of the human experience in times of turmoil. He knows that his art must resonate, urging his audience to awaken to the injustices around them, but he also understands that to do so requires courage, a courage that he must summon from deep within. With each new poem, he embraces the challenge of navigating this fraught terrain, understanding that the poet's role extends beyond mere observation. It is one of engagement and responsibility. As you leave this charged space, you carry with you the weight of the poet's struggles and triumphs, ready to witness how the turbulence of his times will continue to shape his artistic journey. As you journey further with this poet, The vibrancy of cultural rituals and festivals unfurls before you, casting a colourful light on the otherwise tumultuous backdrop of his life. The streets come alive with the sounds of drums beating, voices singing, and laughter ringing out, creating a symphony of joy that dances through the air. You find yourself amidst one of the grand celebrations that punctuate the lives of the people, where art, tradition, and community converge in a spectacular display of unity and spirit. You can almost taste the sweet confections being handed out, their sugary essence mingling with the fragrant aromas of spiced dishes being prepared in homes and stalls nearby. The festival is a kaleidoscope of colourless women in flowing garments adorned with intricate embroidery, men in bright turbans, their faces lit with enthusiasm and hope. You see families gathering in large circles, sharing stories, music, and laughter, a testament to the resilience of community in the face of adversity. Yet, as you absorb the beauty of this celebration, a shocking reality lurks in the background. The very joy you see on display contrasts sharply with the struggles faced by many. These festivities often serve as a temporary escape from the harshness of everyday life, a momentary reprieve from the weight of poverty and political unrest that pervades the streets. You can sense the unspoken acknowledgement of the hardships that lie just beneath the surface of sacrifices made to participate in the festivities, the yearning for change that remains unfulfilled. For the poet, these celebrations present a unique opportunity to capture the essence of life in all its contradictions. Amidst the laughter and joy, he senses the sorrow and longing of those who feel disconnected from the very festivities meant to uplift them. You can see him observing the subtle interactions, the way people share fleeting glances filled with unvoiced dreams and unexpressed desires. Inspired, he begins to weave these themes into his poetry, capturing the duality of celebration and struggle in his verses. As he mingles among the crowds, you can feel his heart swell with both pride and sorrow. The warmth of community is palpable, yet the poet recognizes that these moments of joy are often ephemeral, a temporary balm over deeper wounds. He watches as the festivities unfold, but also as the realities of life return once the music fades and the last lantern is extinguished. The glamour of the festival is easy to admire, but the poet understands that it is essential to honor the complexities behind it. In his writing, he strives to create a narrative that encompasses both the joy of celebration and the pain of longing. You can almost hear him reciting verses that evoke the spirit of the festival while subtly addressing the shadows that linger on the periphery. His art becomes a mirror, reflecting the beauty and fragility of life, urging the audience to embrace both joy and sorrow as integral parts of the human experience. In this moment, the poet understands that his role extends beyond mere observation. He is a storyteller, a bridge between worlds. He knows that through his poetry he can elevate the voices that might otherwise go unheard, giving life to the stories of those who navigate the complexities of existence amid celebrations and struggles. As the festivities continue, you leave the vibrant scene with a sense of hope and reflection. The contrast between joy and sorrow, celebration and struggle, enriches the poet's journey, providing him with the fuel to create art that resonates deeply with the human spirit. With the poet by your side, you prepare to embark on the next chapter of his life, where the wisdom gained from these experiences will continue to shape his voice. As you traverse the shifting landscapes of the poet's life, you find yourself contemplating the legacy he is destined to leave behind. The world around him is in constant flux, political upheavals, cultural transformations, and the ever-evolving nature of art itself. You sense a quiet urgency within the poet as he grapples with the weight of history, recognizing that his words may transcend time and ripple through generations. This realization both inspires and terrifies him, as he ponders the impact his life and work may have on those who come after him. You can almost hear his pen scratching against parchment, the ink flowing with the fervor of his thoughts. The poet immerses himself in the stories of those who have paved the way before him, figures whose works have echoed through the ages. He finds himself reflecting on the lives of poets and writers who faced their own struggles, those who channeled their experiences into art that challenged norms and provoked thought. In their verses, he discovers a kinship, a shared understanding of the human condition that transcends time and culture. Yet, with this connection comes a burden. The poet is acutely aware that he stands on these shoulders of giants, and he feels the pressure to live up to their legacy. The expectations of his contemporaries, patrons, and the public loom large, pushing him to produce work that is both profound and impactful. This pressure runs parallel to the knowledge that his art must serve a greater purpose, one that honors the voices of the marginalized and reflects the complexities of existence. You sense a pivotal moment in the poet's journey as he grapples with the question of authenticity. He knows that to create a legacy worth remembering, he must remain true to himself and his experiences, even as he strives to resonate with a broader audience. The glamorous image of a celebrated poet begins to fade, replaced by the understanding that true legacy lies in vulnerability and honesty. You can feel the conviction building within him, a resolve to craft verses that not only tell his story, but also illuminate the stories of others. In this introspective space, the poet begins to explore themes of identity, belonging, and the interconnectedness of humanity. He understands that by weaving these threads into his work, he can create a tapestry that speaks to the heart of what it means to be human. Each poem becomes a testament to the beauty of diversity, the strength found in unity, and the power of storytelling to bridge divides. You can almost hear him echoing the sentiments of those who came before him, acknowledging that legacy is not solely about individual achievement but rather the collective journey of humanity. As he writes, the poet considers the future, what it means to leave behind words that resonate with truths that transcend time. He understands that art has the power to inspire change, to challenge societal norms, and to ignite conversations that may alter the course of history. This realization fills him with both hope and determination, propelling him forward on his artistic path. With the ink drying on his latest masterpiece, the poet pauses to reflect on the legacy he wishes to create, one rooted in empathy, authenticity, and a commitment to amplifying voices that often go unheard. You can feel the anticipation in the air as he prepares to share his work with the world, knowing that each poem holds the potential to spark change and foster understanding. As you leave this moment of introspection behind, you carry with you the weight of the poet's aspirations and the significance of his journey. Together, you are ready to step into the next chapter of his life, one that will see him confront his legacy head-on, embracing the challenges and rewards that come with the pursuit of artistic truth. As you accompany the poet into the twilight of his life, a serene yet contemplative atmosphere envelops him. The weight of his experience, as filled with love, loss, joy, and sorrow, has shaped him into a figure both revered and vulnerable. You can feel the passage of time etched into his features, lines of wisdom and wariness mingling on his face. With each breath, he reflects on the multitude of moments that have defined his journey, and the realization begins to dawn upon him that his life is not a singular story, but a collection of interconnected narratives. In these quiet hours, you find him sitting beneath the shade of a gnarled tree, its branches sprawling like the many paths he has traveled. The gentle rustle of leaves creates a soothing backdrop, inviting introspection. Here he contemplates the legacies of those who have come before him, the poets, the dreamers, and the voices that have shaped the literary world. You can almost hear his thoughts echoing with gratitude for the guidance and inspiration they have provided, as well as a humble recognition of the role he plays in this ongoing tapestry. Yet, there is a palpable sense of melancholy that lingers in the air. The poet grapples with the inevitability of mortality, the knowledge that time is fleeting and that his legacy is yet to be fully realized. He is acutely aware that his words, while powerful, may not achieve the permanence he desires. The glamorous illusion of leaving behind a monumental legacy begins to fade, replaced by a deeper understanding that true impact lies in the connections forged through shared experiences and the simple act of being present. As he reflects on his life's work, the poet recalls the countless interactions that have informed his writing, the laughter shared over verses recited in candlelit rooms, the tears shed in moments of vulnerability, and the camaraderie found in the struggle for artistic truth. Each encounter, each story, has contributed to the richness of his experience, and in this realization, he finds solace. You can sense the peace settling over him, a recognition that while he may not control how history remembers him, he has the power to continue creating until his final breath. In his poetry, he begins to explore themes of acceptance and surrender. You can see him writing about the beauty of life's impermanence, capturing the essence of fleeting moments and the profound impact they can have on the human experience. The verses become a reflection of his desire to embrace the present, to cherish the connections he has made, and to find joy in the act of creation itself. The poet understands that his legacy will not be defined by accolades or fame, but by the hearts he touches and the conversations he inspires along the way. As the sun begins to set, casting a warm golden hue over the landscape, the poet gazes at the horizon, filled with a sense of gratitude for the journey he has undertaken. He knows that the stories he has shared will ripple through time, influencing those who seek solace in art and those who dare to dream. The complexities of existence, love, loss, joy, pain are all part of the human experience, and he embraces them fully, allowing his words to reflect the truth of his journey. In this moment of quiet reflection, you feel a profound connection to the poet, a recognition of the shared humanity that binds you both. His journey has been one of exploration, growth, and resilience, a testament to the power of art to illuminate the darkest corners of existence while celebrating the beauty that lies within. With each passing moment, You sense the poet's spirit ready to transcend the physical realm, knowing that his legacy is not solely tied to his words but to the love and understanding he has fostered throughout his life. As you prepare to conclude this chapter of the poet's story, you carry with you the lessons learned of authenticity, connection, and the power of vulnerability. Together, you step into the quiet twilight, ready to honor the legacy that is both his own and the collective journey of all who dare to create.